Hey everyone, welcome to Art with Rishi. I am Rishikesh, and this video is part 1 of 9 videos that I'm doing of a series where I teach the fundamentals of human anatomy. So today I'm going to teach you how to draw eyes. One of the most important features of the human figure is the face. To be more specific, the eyes. Eyes are not that hard to draw, but when you practice, it becomes very easy. So, to learn how to draw eyes, we must first analyze its structure. So now let's take a look at the diagram that I've drawn to show you the different parts of the eye. I've simplified the anatomy to best show you the forms present. Now here notice that the general shape of the eye is not like an almond like we see in children's drawings and other graphics that represent the eye. Eyes have a more parallelogram shape. Um, that is if when viewed from the front. Another thing to notice is that the upper eyelid is thinner than the lower one and is more movable. The lower one is more or less just a base. Lastly, take a note of how the eye socket surrounds the eye and the eyelids. As you can see, the eye ball actually sits inside of the eye socket. So now let me label the parts of the eye. This is the eye socket, the green area. Then here we have the lower lid, the upper eyelid, then here we have the iris, and lastly we have the pupil. Oh, and one more thing. This is the tear sac. Now, the way you need to think about the eyes is as spheres. The majority of the form is spherical. So here we have a circle. So that is the center of the eye. So this is just the eyeball. Now, like I said before, it is seen as a parallelogram because of the eyelids covering it. So let's draw that. That's roughly how it is. Yeah. So the peak of the upper eyelid is usually towards the inner part of the eye, while the lower lid has a peak towards the outside, like so. Now, then comes the iris. So when you draw this, you don't want to draw it too big or too small. So you want it to sit to take up most of the space, like this. Space. So rest of the eye like so. So if you would divide the eye, the iris would take up almost half of the eye. Yeah. The other thing is that you don't want the circle to perfectly fit into the eye. It kind of sits like this, so if you draw a full circle, it will come out of the eyelid. Yeah. So now I'm going to get rid of the unwanted lines. Yes, so I've removed all the rough lines. Now to the eyebrows. When you draw the eyebrows, depends on how what expression you're drawing. If it's angry, it's tilted upwards. If it's sad, it's downwards. So here I'm just drawing a neutral eye. So here, edge of the brow, like that. Now the bottom, like there's a slight edge to it. Now the top is I draw it like I draw give it an edge like that, and then fill it in. Just a little rise over there, like this, and that will be filled in. Yeah, like this. Now, in terms of the details of the eye itself, the first thing I draw is the highlight. That is, the light is falling in the eye. It could be anywhere, like here or here. That is totally up to you. So, I draw it first because where the highlight is, that's everything will be drawn underneath that. So now here's something I do while drawing eyes. Instead of just doing the pupil like I did before, what I do is I start from here, give it till there, and then fill that in, and then do the pupil. So basically, this is the shadow that the top eyelid creates on the eye, and this is the iris itself. So these are the highlights. Yeah. So now to summarize, wait, the few details first. Just a few lines under the eye, above the eye, indicating the eyelids. Now remember, you shouldn't draw too many lines because if you draw too many lines, the character starts looking old. Yeah. So let me just summarize that. So first, we give it that shape, the parallelogram. That's one. Then we figure out where the iris is going to be. Number two. With the iris, now we try to do the eyebrow. So number three, and then finally we do the details of the eye. That is the highlight, the pupil, and the shadow. A few lines. So these are the steps to drawing an eye in the front view. Yeah. Now on the 3/4 view, that is if the head were like this, if that's the case, then the eyeball would look something like this, depending on the angle of the head. This would be the center. Yeah. Also, one thing when you're drawing 3/4 angle, the side facing you will have more area. And this has to follow with the other eye too. It will be smaller as it is facing away from you. And then same thing. Yeah. Now if we put the nose line, something like this a small part of this right eye will be covered. Now that is something you have to keep in mind. Now drawing this eye will have similar steps as the front view, just that this side will have thicker parts. Yeah, so after the circle, we do the shape of the eye. Like this. Again, you'll see the eye is going a little thinner this part. So now the iris, eyebrow, yeah. Then the highlight, iris and the shadow, and we shade it in. As simple as that. Now we have the profile view or the side view. So here we begin with the eyeball. Yeah. So imagine you're viewing on the side. So this would be the iris. Second. That's there, and then the highlight. Now we figured out where the highlight and the iris, the pupil will go, but we haven't figured out how the eyelids are going to be. So if this was the front view of the eye, we cut it in half, you would see that both sides of the eye would taper to a point, but the middle is flat because the front of the eye is open. Therefore, the front of the eye is just going to be open in the side view, like so. It's going to taper to a point, like that. Mm. So in profile view, the eye is nothing but a triangle with a curved end, like that. Yeah. So now the eyebrow. The eyebrow is just a curve. Now it can be divided in half. So in the side view, those two halves are going to be displayed differently. The half closer to you, to the end here, is going to be larger, and the second half is going to be shorter, like something like that. Yeah. So that's it. Now just give it the details, and that would be side view. That's it. Well, that's it, guys. I hope you found this video useful. If you got value out of this video, consider subscribing. So this video is part 1 of a 9 video series I'm doing on anatomy. So make sure you hit the notification bell so you know when I upload the next tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.